Hello everybody and welcome to the LT2 guide. To start off, you want to load your slot that we worked on last time. Simply go to menu, load, and hit slot 1. From there, I recommend loading your slot in this position because it's probably the best position out of them all. Anyways, the first thing we need to do today is grab some blueprints. So for that, let's go grab some more money, which we can get by getting some birch trees. We need enough money to buy around 4 blueprints. Basically the starter blueprints, the ones that you need in most of the cases. So simply get all the wood in your truck and go deliver it back to the wood drop off. And you can sawmill it if you would like in your brand new sawmill, because it will be worth a bit more. Anyways, from there, you just want to park your truck in front of Wood R Us, get out, and you want to buy some blueprints. Over here, you'll find the blueprint wall, and the first blueprint you want to buy is the 1x4x1, the 1x4 wedge, like this. Just pick it off the shelf and drag it over to the counter. From there, you just want to buy it. Each blueprint is $80. And as you see, once you buy it, you can open it up and it will appear in your inventory. And you can just click on this little icon and you'll get all of your blueprints. Anyways, another important one is the post, because the post basically can build anything you want as long as it's not a wedge. So it's definitely a thing that you should definitely buy. Anyways, from there, if you just add to box, it will say added to collection. That means it will just go in where your wedge is. From there, you want to buy smooth wall because unlike the post, it has a lot more surface area and is good for building small little huts and little hidden areas. And now, the last thing you want to buy is the basic door, because if you want to build a shack, you're going to need a door. So all you need to do is buy the doors and buy everything else, and then go back to your base. Anyways, now I'm just going to be building a design called the Petite Unloader, which is an unloader that I've created based off of Aquaflow, a YouTuber's design. So all you want to do is build off of that tutorial, and to find that tutorial you just want to go to my channel, Popular Uploads. It's the most popular upload, just passing 10k views. So anyways, I'm just going to be explaining a little bit about filling blueprints. When filling a blueprint, you need the right amount of wood in order to fill up that said blueprint. For example, these blueprints need 5 wood, which means 5 units. A unit is a 1x1 piece of wood. So if you set your sawmill to 1x1 and you cut and you got to 5 units, it would fill it up. It will also give you a percent of how close you are to filling up said blueprint. Anyways, from there you just want to build the auto unloader, and I made a little bit of modifications from the video. You can do this too. Just make sure that it works for you and that your truck can fit in it. As you see, I needed some more money, so I would recommend going back and grabbing one more tree of whitewood, since it's pretty inexpensive. Again, if you want that tutorial, all you have to do is go, link in the description, hopefully. And if not, it's the most popular upload, so you can just search my channel by popularity. Anyways, now we're going to look at how you can make deals, because the next thing you need to get is the fire axe. Okay, so the first type of scenario we're going to be looking at is a typical scammer case. So, as you see, I'm here approaching this shop. This shop looks pretty innocent to me. You've got some items, you've got some stuff. So anyways, I'm going up to the person here, looking around. Again, I don't have any Lumber Tycoon 2 experience, or I do, but you guys won't in this scenario. So you're just looking around, and you see this boxed axe here. So now you can just ask what type of axe it is, like I did here, and see that the owner of the shop said that it's a boxed gold axe, which for a new player might seem very, very convincing. Only one in the game, and they're basically trying to seal this deal. Anyways, I'm not going to talk too much because my voice and irritations aren't that great, to be honest. I keep messing up my lines. But anyways, this is just a typical scammer case. Basically, he's just going to be asking you about your stuff, about what you want, about how he usually sells it for higher than it's actually worth, blah 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 blah. Eventually you're going to pay him the money and you're going to get scammed. So anyways, let's just cut to the point where I tell you guys how to not get scammed. Because getting scammed really sucks, especially in the early game when you have very little money. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you guys how to find / avoid scammers. So, we're in this shop again. Let's just pretend this is a different shop. So the first things you want to notice are item piles, possibly duped, weird items, and items that cost a lot that are in random places that doesn't look like they care too much about them. Now you can keep looking around for little bits and bobs like random trucks, random axes, random items, but basically let's get into the next step. So, you're going to be walking around the shop asking for items, and this is where the next step comes in. You want to tell what they're doing, and you're going to want to look it up on the Lumber Tycoon 2 wiki. The wiki is an amazing place where you can find all things. All you have to do is do Lumber Tycoon 2 wiki. Look it up in your search engine. Basically, it's going to tell you all the items in the game. Next, what you want to do is check out how much he's selling it to you for. You want to look for things like he's selling it to you for the amount of money you have, or random budget cuts, as here he went from 1 million all the way to 70k. From here you want to try negotiating. So I'm going to say 30k because that's about a half, and now he's going to say let's do between. That means in between the 70k and the 30k, which is 50k. So I said sure. And at this point, I'm questioning him in game. Like, I'm kind of questioning him. I'm asking, what's this about? There's something suspicious going on. Anyways, next step you want to do to find out is you want to see if you can budget half. This means you pay half, and then if he gives the item to you without scamming, then you send the rest of the money. And this usually works with most people. And if you get scammed, you only lose half the money, which isn't as bad as using all the money. So the scammer here saying sure, and this is what you want to look for: these random okays, sure, I guess. Because remember, these items are supposed to be pretty rare, and scammers usually are not. They don't care about them. Anyway, another thing is before I send, I want to see the actual axe or the item once it's unboxed. Because a lot of scammers trick you with items that don't exist, and they just use pieces of wood, presents, or other things to trick noobs into thinking that there's something that they're not. So, always ask to look inside, and always ask to make sure that the item is actually the item that you're trying to buy. Another thing to do is straight up say, hey, you trying to scam me? Because this usually makes them say weird stuff like, no, I hate scammers. And most people will say that, but you can tell scammers a lot. They say this because they want to act like they really do hate scammers, which they really are a scammer. So again, watch out for these these I hate scammers, these ... That's what a lot of these scammers use. And as you see, another thing you want to do is show them your evidence, which here it says, but the wiki says that the gold axe does not come in a box. And again, here you go, they have the ... the but, the all these words that I've just talked about that scammers tend to use. Another thing that you want to look for is the list of scammers, which you can find this on a lot of different places. Just look up LT2 list of scammers, or LT2 discords, or LT2 servers. You'll find that there are some scammers in a list for you, so just search their name up. Another thing they might do is keep you company even when you say that you don't want to buy from it anymore. They're gonna keep convincing you to buy from them so that they can scam you. And at this point, you should basically realize that they're a scammer or they're not a scammer. But for here, I just kind of stayed to see some other tricks. Another trick they use is it was my brother / excuses, because scammers are usually good with excuses like it was my brother, oh I didn't mean to, oh that was a long time ago, I don't do that anymore, and all these other things that don't really add up to what the scammer said just before. So as you see, he's like, my brother is a scammer, and he was playing on the same account, which brings a suspicion, why does he have the same account? And why is he a scammer? Things like this you need to take into consideration. Now from here, if you realize he's a scammer, you can give some advice like, why not you give me the item and then I'll pay in full. And this will usually turn down most scammers and they'll admit they're scamming. But in this case, we have more of these Anyways, this kind of went really bad with this He's like, hey, I can give you the axe, I can cut it in half, which you can't cut box axes in half. I'm sorry, it would be cool, but you can't. And at this rate, you know he's a scammer, and that is wood. And if you're not sure he's a scammer yet, if for some reason you're like, maybe he's a scammer, just go to another server. It never hurts. You'll find a better deal somewhere. So yeah. Anyways, at this point, you know it's a piece of wood. You know he's a scammer. And yeah, basically, you know everything that there is to know. You're not gonna buy from this guy anytime soon. Now, one last thing you can do is actually admit, hey, that's a piece of wood, and now he might be like, oh, how you know? And then the last thing you want to do is just say, I'll report you. And this turns down the hacker or the scammer because it's a threat, and most of them don't like threats. Anyways, now I'm going to show you the typical anti-scammer, and that's basically a good person who doesn't want to scam you. So as you see, we're back in the shop act setup here, and the one thing, and basically everything is pretty much the same in the beginning. What would you like to buy? Here's what you would like to buy, but this time there will be none of these weird fake items and none of these duped items. So you'll see that there's only real items that are actually in the game. Now at this point you want to look for fire axes because that's the next thing you need anyways, so you might as well buy it. So you're just going to simply ask how much. He's going to say about 25k. Again, you can get this money from getting gold wood, birch wood, any type of wood that I already have showed you how to get. So from there, all you want to do is do the same techniques I've showed you before. The discounting, the cut budget halving, all these little techniques that I've showed you how to do before. So just continue to do this until you get a reasonable price that's not too low, because people who sell it too low are usually duplicators. And try not to support duplicators. Even though the price is cheaper, it just ruins the economy. Anyways, another thing that anti-scammers will do is do stuff like, I don't whitelist on my base. And that's actually smart, because if a scammer was to whitelist you on their base, then the person could just take everything off their base, you know? So yeah, he wants me to go to his base. And this is really good, because now he's gonna tell me how he's actually gonna do this in the smart way. So he drops the item on my base so he can no longer pick it up. He tells me to blacklist you so that he can't come in and pick up the item, and if he leaves the game, the item leaves with it and he loses the item anyways. And it's blacklisted, so make sure he's blacklisted. And now you can send full money to him, because you know there is no way he's gonna be scamming you, or else he would be getting scammed by his own scams. So yeah, make sure you just say that you'll send it all, and you could just send him all the money. It doesn't matter. And that's basically it. You found out now how real people do it and how you can do it also if you're gonna be selling things later. But I will have a more up-to-date selling guide coming out a few episodes from now. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the slightly longer, slightly less edited, slightly harsher on my voice episode of the LT2 guide. We've got a pretty good auto unloader setup, pretty good starting off base, and I've told you guys how you can sell items and how you can buy items while avoiding scammers and finding anti-scammers. You've also got a fire axe, and this will come in useful, while I will show you guys how to get the most money the quickest in the next episode. So yeah, anyways, I hope you enjoyed. This is it for me. Peace.